So at least in the short term, if we can break above, I think you have a shot to maybe get up to about.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Daily Crypto. We are back with yet another Gareth Soloway video for you guys to enjoy, but before we can get started, let's take a look at the Fear and Greed Index for today. As of recording this video, it is sitting at 23, slightly better than yesterday's 20. Currently Bitcoin and Ethereum are trading for 19,195 and 1,312 respectively. With that being said, let's get started with the video.
I think honestly one of the reasons why Bitcoin's gotten so quiet recently, and it's been really quiet, is that I think the market is expecting we're going to get some more framework on regulation. So you're not seeing big buyers come in, but at the same time the sellers have been exhausted, at least for now. And so people are just waiting. When are we going to hear more information? And by the way, one thing I've said is that I think that when we do get that framework and the SEC releases the framework on the rules, and again, Bitcoin probably a commodity, most other things a security, but that's fine. But the question I have is, are there new rules for crypto securities that are different from stock securities like Apple or Microsoft? And I think that's what we're going to have to see. But I do think that once that happens, you do see a relief and a move up in crypto at that point.
It's been a while since Bitcoin made any dramatic moves, which leads Gareth to come to the conclusion that bigger institutions are holding back as they are expecting some sort of regulatory framework to come into place. Depending on how the new rules affect crypto, Bitcoin will make an impulsive move.
To be honest, I view it the same way as like the marijuana industry, right? So you have these older generations that were all about in the 80s. It was like the war on drugs, and like marijuana is a gateway drug and it leads to all this other, it's horrible. And then like I lived in Oregon for a while, where it was totally legal. You could buy recreational, and there was no difference. Like there was nothing. I tried it on occasion, and whatever, but like it's not addicting in my opinion. And like there's certain people that are going to do it more, certain less, and then certain none, but it didn't increase anything negatively in my opinion. I didn't feel less safe walking down the street, for instance, just because people could buy this in a store, right? So I think the same thing where you have these older generations that are kind of like scared of these things, same thing, and don't understand it fully with the marijuana industry. And then the same thing now with crypto, you have these older generations again that are like, I don't know what it is, but it sounds like it could be a threat to the system, so let's be against it. And it's like, learn about it already.
Gareth compares Bitcoin to the booming cannabis industry, which didn't exist officially just a few decades ago. It has to do with the average age of the population, as Gen Zs tend to adopt modern trends and technology much easily. He thinks Bitcoin is here to stay and will continue to grow as a digital asset.
Yeah, so I do think I think I've been impressed because the equity markets, the stock market has been heading generally down, and Bitcoin's really been going sideways. So it's showing us glimpses of what it could be. Yeah. I do worry that it's not quite mature enough yet to fully kind of disconnect from the risk asset style that it's been kind of caught in. But there's no doubt that it's showing us glimpses of what it can do, and that's great. And again, we just have to remember that like, you're 16, right? So I guess Bitcoin would be the equivalent of a 13-year-old. Yes. So your 13-year-old can show signs of maturity, but at the same time, they're still going to be immature because they're a 13-year-old sometimes too. So you're seeing that kind of mid-level where sometimes it's doing the right thing, sometimes it's still kind of crazy.
Since Bitcoin is still a relatively young asset class, it will take some more time to decouple itself from the normal risk on assets. However, it has already started to show signs of strength by not falling any lower while the entire stock market is trending sharply lower. This indicates that Bitcoin is ready to bounce back up and break its correlation with the stock market.
Let's look at the charts, and I want to show you, and this is my one concern about like where we could be if we go back to the 2017 highs, right? So this is where we are in crypto, and it's really, like you said, I mean, like so sideways and just consolidating. Number one, we have this beautiful, what we call a wedge pattern. So at least in the short term, if we can break above, I think you have a shot to maybe get up to about 25,000. So that's kind of cool if we can get the breakout, but please note it hasn't happened yet. You're literally stuck in this tiny little triangle niche, and we need to see that breakout occur. But going back to what you were saying about like where we could be in the cycle and how it's just getting so quiet, look at what happened back in the previous cycle of 2017. And this is my only concern So basically, we had that big fall down here from here's your 2017 high, lots of chop on the way down. And then look at what happened here. It just goes to sleep and then sleep. And look at how tight it got. And then all of a sudden,
It
right?
fell
So
off the bed.
that's my only fear, right? Is that we're doing that kind of period. And then if it does start to break, it's going to be a big break. And then but the positive is, all right, let's always look at the positives here.
Okay.
The positive is that was the final flush before the bottom. So even if this is what we're doing right here, at least if it dips, I'm a buyer. Heck yeah, I'm a buyer. Because at that point, then if we zoom out, look at what ends up happening, right? It bottoms out, curls up, and then this was just the beginning of the bigger bull run that eventually led us up to the current, double top high here. So it's a tricky one, right? I mean, it's like you look at these past charts and we know human behavior occurs or repeats over and over again, but you hope it's different this time. So we'll just have to see.
Bitcoin is moving in a wedge pattern and seems to be running out of space. It will make a big move very soon, as at some point it will have to break out of the wedge. Gareth believes we could see 25k Bitcoin if it breaks to the upside, but eventually, it will fall back lower and create new lows. A major concern for Gareth is that we could also see history repeat itself, where Bitcoin broke below the wedge and took a huge hit.
Let's be fair, right? This is the first bear market for Bitcoin with no Fed printing of money. So I think we just have to be aware that like a lot of people are saying, okay, well, we should bottom here soon and start moving up, because past cycles generally lasted about 12 months before they bottomed out, right? Well, the problem is that all those past cycles, there was money printing that helped us kind of push it up. So just to be on the safe side, I'm preparing myself for a slightly longer bear market just because the Fed's not bailing us out. Now, if the Fed came out and started lowering interest rates next week or whenever, then I think, all right, now it's bull on again in Bitcoin. But we just have to see with the Fed here, because it's kind of the first time this is happening.
This is the first Bitcoin cycle during which the Fed isn't printing any money. This will definitely have some effect on the price of Bitcoin, as people will have fewer available funds to invest into crypto. This factor could also serve as a catalyst for another breakdown, because Bitcoin will lose its strength if this continues.
This is what's so crazy is, like, if you think about the run up that we had here, it was exactly what you're saying. It's like, was it fake? I mean, obviously price action was real. People made money, people lost money, but there was so much money. I mean, in the US, we had the government sending checks out to people. People were home from COVID, and so they weren't driving and spending money on vacations. I mean, there was so much extra money plus quantitative easing from the Fed that the question is if we didn't have COVID, would we have ever gotten this high on Bitcoin? I don't know.
Yeah,
that's the crazy thing about it.
The pace at which Bitcoin rose in price and created new all-time highs is scary to comprehend. Since it was all boosted because of the quantitative easing by the Fed, the question arises whether Bitcoin could have ever reached these levels if it never happened.
And I agree. It's by no means are we at a bottom yet, because the one thing I remember clearly from 2018, after we topped in 2017, is when we did hit the bottom, people were like, there were a lot of people that were giving up on Bitcoin at that point, and we haven't seen that yet. So it does make me think there's that one final flush where finally you'll get to see that, which is a kind of that mentality. Now, in the short term, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if we did see a short-term relief rally, and if we could just break above this line, we would get it. I mean, I think you'd get a little short squeeze even above it. But again, even if we pop up, then I still, for me, it's still telling me further downside, which again, I hate to say, I hate to be that person, but also the charts are what I follow, and it still doesn't look like we've fully bottomed out yet. But as I said, buying opportunity, like you want it, and by the way, can I just say something here quick?
Yeah.
So last year, Bitcoin was like 65, 69,000. I come out and I'm like, hi guys, charts are saying we're going to 20. Like, just beware. Oh, you're crazy, Gareth. You're smoking that too much of that stuff, whatever they said. And then people were like on Twitter, they're like, you know what, if Bitcoin gets to 20 again, oh my God, I'm going to sell my kidney to buy Bitcoin, right? Well, here we are at 20, and I don't see anyone selling their kidney.
Gareth believes Bitcoin could reach 25k if it manages to break out of the wedge, but it won't stay there for long. He is still in the camp that Bitcoin will have one last fall before it can start to go higher. He makes a very valid point, because we haven't seen peak fear among investors yet. Thank you for watching this video. Please drop a like and subscribe to our channel so you can keep watching educational videos like this on a daily basis. See you guys in the next video.